Yes, it's people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. And you know what time it is? It's time for the UCL roundup where I go through all of the main British teams in the UCL, their scorelines, how I thought they played, etc. etc. So let's get into it. So I'll start with the most recent game, and that is Newcastle 0, Borussia Dortmund 1. In my opinion, this game was quite a competitive game. I felt like, in the first half, Newcastle were a bit more being a bit too defensive. Pope was rushing about. It felt like he didn't trust his defense as much against BVB. And as a result, it led to Nemecha being able to get that goal in to make it 1-0 for Borussia Dortmund. I think afterwards, BV did have their chances and everything, but Newcastle afterwards kind of woke up. Were really trying to go for the equaliser, and literally like 5 minutes ago, in the 94th minute, you had literally my guy Anthony Gordon hit the post in the last minute of the game, and it didn't go through for them. Obviously, Isak had to come off of an injury as well, and they had to bring on Callum Wilson. But even then, I thought Callum Wilson should be able to do a good job against BVB, who even though they are quite high in the table for the Bundesliga, I don't really feel like they've been playing that well, in my opinion. So I thought Newcastle could get a win out of them. At the end of the day, they haven't been able to get that win. But again, as I always say, now you have to go back to the Sigma Iduna Arena. You have to get a result there if you're Newcastle, in order for you to qualify for the second place in the UCL. So at the end of the day, we will see what happens there. But Newcastle sadly losing to Borussia Dortmund 1-0. Now, let's go over to the other game today, which is Man City versus Young Boys, and they won 3-1. Obviously, Haaland was able to score quite a few goals. Young Boys were able to score quite a nice little chip over Edison, which they were able to do. But you're looking at Man City, just trying to make sure they continue their form, trying to continue to be as dominant as they can be, to get ready for that Manchester derby on Sunday against Manchester United. And they're looking good, man. They look like they're cooking. And if you're Manchester United, you gotta be worried now, man. You gotta be worried. You have to be worried. The way they're looking, the way they're feeling, the way they're being so direct, so powerful, the way they're playing in attack, they could be cooking these guys like 6, 7, 8-0 with the way they're moving. But hey ho, man, we move. But that was really the Manchester City game. Pretty dominant against Young Boys. And yeah, pretty much all I can see on that one. Now let's go on to the games from yesterday. And let's start with none other than Manchester United in 1, Copenhagen 0. Now this game had a crazy ending to it, which we will definitely get to. But in the first 45 minutes, literally, mate, I was sleeping, man. It was actually terrible. Man United were playing absolutely crap. The midfield wasn't working. Copenhagen were really able to get through that midfield, control it, were able to dominate it to a really great extent. They were able to see this pattern of plays being played by them. They had a few good chances. I would say Copenhagen. Man United had a couple of half chances in the first half. In the second half, he brings off Amrabat, brings on Ericsson. And I started to get a bit more on the front foot, started to, try to make plays. Obviously, you had that chance for Rashford, you had the chance for Garnacho, where they were just literally doing the R1 thing, the R1 thing. For some reason, literally no first touches were available in that game at all, in my opinion, personally, which was kind of like disturbing, to say at the very least, in my opinion. Like, Rashford, hasn't been in form for quite a long time. Garnacho's a young guy, so I can at least, allow him to make a mistake or two. But Rashford, bro, he was looking, I don't know, man, he's looking like he's in a very, very, very bad state of affairs. So hopefully, he can turn that around for himself, first and foremost. But obviously, the United got a crossing opportunity, goes out, Ericsson gets the ball back, whips it in, Maguire, captain leader Maguire, United legend, able to head the ball down and then into the goal like that, to beat the Copenhagen goalkeeper. Then, McTominay in the last action of the game, for some reason, just kicks someone in the head for no apparent reason, not looking at all, gives Copenhagen the penalty, and then Onana is able to save the penalty. So, big up to Onana. It looks like he can be a goalkeeper. But again, it's only a penalty save against Copenhagen, lads. And like the fact that United were struggling against Copenhagen, a side which is pretty much a lower mid-table team in the Premier League, is quite concerning if you're a United fan. They've not been in very good form. It seems that they just play to the same level as the opposition team, which is a worry as well. Because when you're facing Man City, they are gonna cook you. They are gonna grill you. They're gonna be onto these man. So and they got you back. So it's not looking good for these man. Oh, bro, it's not looking good, bruv. So we'll see what happens there. But in the meantime, United were able to win that game 1-0, and that gives them 3 points. That makes them third place currently in the group stages so far. But we move. Now let's go on to the final one, which is Arsenal versus Sevilla. That game ended 2-1. Now, I think Sevilla in the first half were really a lot more on the front foot. They were creating chances. They had a lot of opportunities. Just weren't able to finish their chances, in my opinion, Sevilla in the first half. However, Arsenal did have a fair few of their chances. They had a 1v1 initially with Martinelli, which he missed. But there was a second time in the first half, towards the end, comes from a corner from Sevilla. Gabriel Jesus gets the ball, nice little turn, gives it to Martin, who was onside, able to get past Sergio Ramos, 1v1, does not miss this time, and makes it 1-0 for them. And again, you then have, in the second half, Gabriel Jesus, nice little finesse shot, top corner, top bins, to make it 2-0 for them. And then Sevilla were able to get a one back, and for the last 15 minutes, they were trying to really hard to try to get back into that game to make it 2-2, but were not able to, I'm afraid. So yeah, man, that's pretty much the other game that happened so far. Again, Arsenal they were all right. Odegaard wasn't as good as he is. Again, he seems to be having quite a deeper form, I would say, Odegaard, that's for sure. But yeah, man, again, I think for me personally, when it comes down to it, these Arsenal, they're not looking like their former selves. A lot of stuff that still needs to improve there if I'm Arsenal. But those are the 4 games, in my opinion, that happened in the UCL from the English team perspectives. If you are going to other games, obviously AC Milan versus PSG, obviously Mbappe cooked Tomori, sent him to the barber shop, sent him to shops, he's his young G these days, what I'm saying. Tomori, brother, he got cooked, bro, I'll be real, respectfully. And then that made it 1-0. Obviously then Coleman is able to get a goal via the rebound from Manyan Say from the cross. And yeah, man, it was nasty, man. It was absolutely nasty, to say the least. But we move, man, at the end of the day. But very, very interesting so far, yeah, to say the least. But we'll see what happens in the meantime. But that's, I think, pretty much all I can say about the UCL thing. But at the end of the day, tune in tomorrow. You'll have a career mode via yours truly, Ahmed Ali Abdi, to see that lovely, jubbly stuff. But hey, again, thanks guys for watching as usual. I've been your host of the Most Abridged 258. Almost at 1k, let only 20 of you guys to sub. So 20 of you guys that watch this video, make sure to sub, please. Thank you very much. And that's the video. Lovely jubbly. Have a nice one. Love.